Okay, welcome back. We're on our final block for month 5. This is the block 15 Beach Pea. This is my favorite block in the whole quilt because I love swirly stuff, and I'm gonna open it up here, and it's like this swirly, beautiful, they're just so beautiful. And you know, there are these little plants that grow in the sands down by the beach or along the road sometimes in the sand, and I just love them. They're not very tall, they're kind of inconspicuous, but if you get close up to them, which I did when I was looking around for flowers to do for this quilt, I just was like, oh my gosh, they're adorable. And they have these little curls on them. I love curly things. And the leaves and flowers they're just so pretty. And I just love them. So it ended up being my favorite block. Okay, so we have our kit. So we're gonna wanna open it up, get your 10.5-inch square cut, our cathedral window appliques cut. We've got 4 of them here. Have my little thread scissors, and I have all my applique pieces labeled. So this one is another one that has a fold, and if the fold bothers you, you can just press it out with your hand. That's what I usually do. One little piece that's wanting to fly away here. I just press it out with my hand, but if it really bothers you, you can iron this. Now, I just would say if you go to iron it, just be very careful. You don't want to accidentally like iron something in a wonky way. And I have this little, I'm going to pull this off. This is my stem too, and it's just being a pest. So you can take your iron, if you do, medium heat, put it down, kind of press across a little bit, and it'll flatten it out pretty good. But what is really holding this crease is the paper, and when I remove the paper, you won't notice it much on the actual applique. And the applique is actually a very small part of this piece. It's like this little teeny bit. It's this big, huge piece for this tiny little skinny little stem. So I just leave mine alone. I just kind of hand press it out. And I've got my photocopy. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this out to the side, get this centered. This is another one where, you know, for months I've been telling you guys, don't do the cathedral windows when it says, and you know, like that's an important step. For one, a lot of the times we've been hiding stems, so it's not always the first thing you put down. But I have said there are a few times where I'll say do top right, top left, bottom ones or whatever. And I don't think we've done that yet until the daisy. And now we have a second one this month. So this one, when we start, we're going to actually arrange the top right and top left first. So because I like them to be kind of facing me when I do it, I spin my, and I haven't got anything down, you know, where my flower is yet. So, I have a little puppy. Actually, she's not a puppy anymore. I have a dog, and she has these very, very fine black hairs that get on everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put them on there, and then I'll recenter on my background once they're in place. Okay, spin her around, recenter my 10.5-inch square. I'm gonna turn my light on. And then the next step is putting down stem 1. Now stem 1 is this big, long, curly stem, goes through this huge piece of light green. And really, it's just this little tiny piece. You get all this waste, but if you're somebody who likes to use applique, you got a lot of extra here you could probably use for something else. You could make some leaves out of this. Excuse me. You could do a whole bunch of leaves cut out of this one, actually, because of how big that is. So if you want to save that, you don't have to. Let me grab my water. Sorry. 3rd video in a row. My throat starts to get dry. Okay. So we're going to put stem 1 down. So because it's a real thin one too, I always say when you're peeling off, peel off gently. You know, sometimes when you do that peel, it can stretch stuff a little bit. Just do it kind of gentle. And as I usually always do with stems, I kind of try to start in the middle. So I have these 2 little Y's here, and I have them right here. I'm going to aim for kind of that area to get in place correctly. So I've got my first little Y. Got my other one right there. That's good. And then I'm going to just go up, curl, curly Q. Let this one go up. Get that one curly cued. And this one goes off onto the cathedral window. And then let the bottom go down and get into place. Beautiful. Okay, so now that we've got our stem in place, stem 1, we're moving on to step C, and now we want to actually put the bottom 2 cathedral window pieces down. So I usually like to spin these toward me, but I'll just leave them. But you know, we only have one stem in place right now, so if you needed to move this, and I'm just moving my body instead, coming off to the side here. Okay, and then step D, stem 2. So that's this little guy that was being a pest earlier for me. So he sticks out here on the side. And I'm just going to kind of stick him right next to that. Now a leaf is going to actually cover up that edge. And it's kind of hard, I'm sure, for you guys to see where the line or where he goes, but I can sort of see through this cathedral window just enough to know that it goes right here. So I could see where that was. I'm just going to place it down and it's going to be good there. Okay. Step E, leaves 1 through 40. Okay, so that's a lot. I believe, yeah, they're all within these 2 greens. These other colors here, these are going to be your flowers. There's 4 colors here that go into these flowers. And so we're going to be doing all greens, and they kind of alternate a little bit back and forth. So just keep them both handy here. So we're going to start with leaf 1. Leaf 1 is down here. Pop them out. Leaf 1. Whoop, I had a leaf fly away. Stay right there. I don't want to lose you. Number 10. Leaf 2. And if you need help, I always, again, reference my picture up here a lot. So that's one thing that's also nice about having this. Sometimes, you know, it's hard to kind of see through the fabric to read, especially. The shapes aren't so bad, but the reading part is tricky. So I will reference my picture up here a lot of where each one goes. And then, you know, I know like, oh, okay, that's this one, that's this one. Leaf 3, we're going to the lighter green. And they do kind of, for a lot of the time, they kind of alternate back and forth. Dark green, light green, dark green, light. Not always, but a lot of the times they do. Leaf 4. And leaf 4 is peeking out right here. Boop, boop. Leaf 5. Leaf 6. Leaf 7. Thread. I can't believe it's month 5 already. I was thinking like, holy cow, I cannot believe that we are like next month we'll be done with all their blocks. That's amazing. And then finishing kit, and then that's it. The best part is that means summer's almost here, and that's like wonderful. I hope we have a nice summer. Kind of had a crummy summer last year, and I'm really hoping for a nice one this year. I wore socks with my flip-flops like all last summer, and my family teased me relentlessly, but I said, I don't care. It's summer, I'm wearing flip-flops, but dang, my feet are cold, so I have to wear my socks. Okay, so we've done that little section. So now 12, 13, 14 are right up here. So I'm hoping that this summer I can wear my flip-flops without socks. And I'll be able to do that anyhow here very soon because I'm going to Hawaii for 10 days on the 24th. I'm so excited. My family, we booked the trip like in May of last year. It was like so far ahead. Oh, and I just bumped. So I realized that I bumped, and I'm off a tiny bit here. I really don't care. I just bumped, I straightened her back out, and I'm going to make sure the rest of them are straight. So if you ever bump and you notice it, straighten it out. And it's okay if your little leaves down here are slightly off from the picture. Like once you take that out, you're not going to notice. So don't stress over it. But yeah, anyhow, we booked our trip. I think it was like May or June for, end of February. And my daughter, for those of you who don't know, she's a type 1 diabetic. So she has what we call a diaversary every year. It's the anniversary of the day that she was diagnosed as a diabetic. It was probably the worst day of my life. Very, very scary. And when we were going through that whole, first year and all that, learning everything and this whole big change in our life on how to deal with this autoimmune disease. She was 5. I got joined some Facebook groups with families with other type 1 kids, and I saw a lot of them who would do this thing called the Diversary, and they would sort of do kind of like a birthday, like sort of celebrate like a second birthday for the kids, and celebrate the day as a day that their child was saved and not a terrible day that they found out they had this incurable disease. So I didn't want it to be a sad day, even though it is a sad day for me, and I'm sure for her a little bit, but for her, she loves it because it's like another birthday. So this year when she had or last year, actually her birthday's on the 14th of August, and she's going to be 14, and she was wanting to do a trip. Just making sure where I'm at. Okay. While I'm talking, I told her when she was younger, it's your golden birthday, when you turn the age that the day of the month is of your birthday. So she'll be 14 on the 14th this year. And I had told her years and years ago, wherever you want to do, whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, you basically pick the vacation that year. And she wanted to go to Paris at first. And we took our kids to Germany and Italy last year, which is where I went to school. Got to show them where I lived and everything in Florence, and it was a really amazing, wonderful trip. I loved being able to take my family there. I'm going to stop for 1 second so I know where I'm at. Okay, so we're starting this group now with 24. Anyhow, so my daughter said she wanted to go to Paris, and I said, why Paris? And she was like, I don't know. She just really enjoyed Europe, and she thought it'd be fun to see Paris. I've never been to Paris. So we were going to try to plan something for August, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, last time we used airline miles, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to have enough airline miles to get my whole family to Paris, but we'll figure it out. Well, I know how to plan a trip on a budget. And so we were trying to figure that out. And then we realized that the Summer Olympics were going to be in Paris, literally ending like days before her birthday. And I said, when we went to Italy, it was so hot. I mean, we were there in September and it was just cooking. And I told her, we have the Olympics happening. We have, how hot it was when we were over there in Italy. Maybe we could go somewhere over your Diversary instead and then do something special on your birthday, but you can pick where. And, I was able to convince her that that's a good deal. You kind of get 2 things special for you that time. So she decided if we were going to go for her Diversary somewhere, she wanted to go back to Hawaii. So we were going to the Big Island, and that was her pick of where to go. Well, then all last holiday season that just passed, I kept watching all these things that kept popping up about Christmas markets in Europe. And I've always wanted to go to Christmas markets. And I told my husband, I'd really like to go. Well, he's not into that idea very much. And so I ended up racking up some pretty good airline miles the last few years, and I had enough for 2 people to go. And so because when I mentioned it to our son about going, he was like, Christmas markets. And my daughter was like, that'd be fun. Well, so I ended up finding a really great deal for miles again, going to Paris in December, and my daughter and I are going to go to the Christmas market too. So I thought, she's so spoiled. She got to pick Hawaii. Then she wanted to go to Paris. I decided, okay, let's fly to Paris. We'll do the Christmas markets there. And then we're going to go to some of the markets in a few little towns in France, really close to the German border. So she gets both trips. I'm so excited to go though. We're both really, it's like Hawaii's coming up in days. And we're really, really excited about that. But even now that Hawaii's coming so close, it's like, I'm so excited to go to Paris. I can't wait till December. And I thought, let's wait till December though. Cause I like the summer. Let's not push that one too soon, but I'm really excited. I can't wait to go to the Christmas markets. I think it's going to be so much fun. So you may have some new holiday designs coming out after next year from me. Okay. I did all 40. We're done. Whew. done with the greens. Okay, so next is flowers A through J. And so our flowers are going to be numbered in, well, they're in alphabetical order, so within that numerical order, right? So we're going to start with A1, A2, A whatever, as many A's, and then move on to B's. So, oh, A is just a single A. So if you have just A, what does that mean? That means it's just one. There's no other parts to it. This is just a little bud. B1. So I'm sure many of you have been to Paris. If you have any great suggestions, let me know. We don't really know what we're going to do. I've never been there. I've been to, like I said, I went to school in Italy, but I stayed in Italy while I was there. And I've been back a few times just because it's very special to me, Florence, and I love getting over there any time I can. I have huge gaps in between my visits, but my family loved it too, so I'm sure we'll be back. And last time we got to see a little bit of Germany because we flew into Germany. I'm looking for C1. C1? I found C3. I found C2. How come I'm not finding? Oh, here it is. C1. Anyhow, very excited to go. And my daughter is super spoiled. She's worth it though. I'm looking very much forward to getting to have a girls' trip. With her, especially since she's getting older. Thankfully, she still likes to hang out with her mom. C3. Okay, so now we're going to move on to C4, which is, sorry, not C4, D, E, F. So D is just a single one also. E1. And then E2. And that's it for E. And then F1, which is in this one here. And F2. And then F3. We are so close to done. We just have one little group of flowers left, and they are the ones that are the most bloomed. Okay, so G1, finally getting into this lighter lavender. One thing that's kind of nice, I hope, now that you guys have done all these flowers, you'll go out around Alaska in the summer and be like, oh my goodness, there's that flower. I know it so well. Look at that beach pea. Aren't they so beautiful? And then you'll look at the raspberries. Oh, I just love these little raspberries. So hopefully it will give you appreciation for all these flowers we have. When I was doing Northern Flora, I went around and I decided to do the shop hop for 2013. And so I was working on it in 2012. And when I was thinking like, what would I do? I thought, well, flowers would be really pretty. And so I decided, okay, I'll do Alaskan flowers. And then I thought, I'll do berries too. So that's why it's Northern Flora and not Northern Florals. And so I went around like getting photos and, picking parts of plants and being able to bring them home and look at them really close. And I try to make sure that my designs are accurate, and I do a lot of kind of research when I'm doing things, just because I don't want to have some glaringly incorrect thing, about any of my designs. So, anyhow, I went around taking pictures. I had some really nice people who let me take pictures of their flowers in their garden or around their home. I don't know if you all know Kathy Sexton or Trinity Greenhouse. She used to own it, and she had a lot of flowers there that she let me come and photograph. And then she has her garden at her home. Let's see. So this one we don't do the top because it connects J. So there is it goes I1, I2, and then we go to J1, J2, and then J3 covers both I's. Anyhow, she let me take a bunch of pictures at her house too. She had amazing gardens that had a whole bunch of flowers in them. And it was actually really fun kind of getting to know these flowers. And like this beach pea, this is the one that for me, I'd seen them before. I've seen them when I've been down at the beach, little purple flowers kind of grown in the sand, but I never really looked closely at them. And once I looked at them and I picked a couple to take some more close-up pictures of, and I just love them now. And then now every time I see them, they make me smile. I just absolutely love their little curlicues, and they're so beautiful. And they're one that's just not very often recognized. So one of the fun things about doing Northern Flora was that I get to spotlight flowers that don't always, get to be in the spotlight. So, okay, we're done. And it's only been 21 minutes. Now that's awesome because some of the other blocks have taken that long. So you can do this, and faster than I thought. So here's our, oops, got a piece of paper. Here's our beach pea, my favorite of all the blocks. And what are we going to do now? Just like with all the others, press with your iron over everything, get it warmed up. Make sure your iron's not too hot, medium heat, and then steam. So either blast her with the steam for 5 seconds, then set it down and let the dry heat evaporate that moisture and really fuse it well. Or take your little spritzer bottle. This is my spritzer bottle. Here's my spritzer bottle. And everywhere. And then hit it with dry heat and evaporate that. And then do it again from the reverse. And you're done. Okay, so I will see you guys next month. And we will finish up the last 3 blocks for Northern Flora. And then in April, finishing kit. And we're knocking this sucker out of the park. You guys are doing amazing. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and I will see you again in March.